Hello everyone, and welcome to the semifinals between Neilyo and SoryuLeon, now known as Leon, in the Southeast Asia Legends Series number 15, hosted by ESL, casted by myself, Spell Ruler. So this is Warrior versus Druid. So let's take a quick look at the classes, as this is Conquest mode, so whenever you win with a class, you are not allowed to play it anymore. So Soryu is playing Warlock, Hunter, and Druid. Neilyo is playing Warlock, Warrior, and Hunter. So it looks like we're in for a little bit of a longer match here overall. So let's see how this one is going to turn out. One card being drawn by Neilyo for that Acolyte of Pain. Grim Patron on the field, and Harrison Jones getting rid of that Death Bite. That's pretty huge actually, as Neilyo won't have any way to mandatory or forcibly trigger his Grim Patron anymore. So now back to Neilyo, who has plenty of cards in hands, but only has one way realistically to trigger his Grim Patron, and that is the Inner Rage. And that's not really gonna cut it. What Neilyo really needs is a Whirlwind or anything like that. So Armsmith doing the damage onto Leon. That's pretty much it after executing the Harrison Jones. Now Soryu sitting at 6 mana. He can go for a 7 mana Dr. Boom play, but is instead going to go for Druid of the Claw. And as expected, Neilyo is probably going to lower all the costs of Emperor Forest-san, but is not going to kill off that Druid of the Claw just yet. And here is the tricky situation, because you want to sacrifice, or you want to attack with your Grim Patron to actually do the damage left and right, but it's only a 3/3. So the thing is, it can't suicide into the Druid of the Claw. That's the thing, because this entire combo relies on flooding the field with patrons. But if the only thing you have are pretty strong walls that you're facing, your patrons can't get over that. So Savage Roar being used fairly early, not to clear out the field, but does clear out a lot. Not everything though. Battle Rage might come in handy, but not now, as so looks like it is gonna be the Inner Rage being given to that Grim Patron, so at least one Grim Patron does get spawned. And the Death Rattle fact, that's actually very well played by Neilyo, flooding the field with Grim Patrons regardless. That's going to be a lot of damage landing onto Soryu. It isn't lethal just yet, but might as well be with all the damage coming in. And does Soryu have a way to clear the board as of now? Well, he has a Force of Nature, but that's not going to do too much for him right now. Force of Nature Shapeshift unit be used. That will get rid of some of the creatures on the field, but Grim Patron's still standing. That means that Neilyo only needs to do 2 more damage, and Frothing Berserker is gonna be good, but it's not even needed, as the Slam will bring out another Grim Patron, and that Slam, the draw card, will give Neilyo Fiery War Axe. Neilyo just dropping his hand on the table. Soryu admitting the well played. Neilyo winning the first game in this best of 5.
Rexar versus Malfurion.
I must protect the wild. Let the hunt begin.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
Welcome back, everyone. This is game 2 between Leon and Neilyo. Please don't be a spectator bug. Keeper of the Grove, I beg of you. Fortunately, it has not happened that way. But anyways, we're back with a game 2 between Neilyo and Soryu. Neilyo being one game up in this best of 5. Remember, this is Conquest, so Neilyo cannot play Warrior anymore. Still has Warlock and Hunter to his disposal. Looks like this is going to be a quick back and forth game between both of these players. Massive Glaivezuka being equipped there. That's the biggest card I've ever seen. I'm going to leave it like that for now, as it's not really obscuring the board so far, unless it gives any other spectator issues here. Actually, it seems like it is giving spectator issues here, so I'm gonna reset here. Apologies for that.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
So apologies for that one. Should all be fixed, hopefully. Spectator mode has been really buggy today, so I really deeply apologize for that one. Unfortunately, I can't do too much about it besides restarting the client, which is not really helping too much. But I swapped the places, so Soryu is now on the bottom side, Neilyo is at the top side, since Soryu does have a spectator mode open, so it's a little bit easier for me to hop into the game that way. So Raph gonna take care of that spider, and Swipe gonna take care of the rest. Neilyo not really in the best of spots right now, looking at how it is right now. Does have a kill command and some hounds available for him, and Savannah Jaime, which is helpful in a way, but it's not too much. But if Soryu can, or if Neilyo can get this momentum going, then he can definitely pull through with this one. So one thing that he might have to do right now is Wrath for the 1 damage and then Swipe to clear away the board. That will give Neilyo another 2 hyenas to work with, but he might be forced to just to take less damage next turn. Otherwise he would have taken 8 damage, whereas now he will only take 4 from the minions on the board. Neilyo now with a Wolf Rider in hand. That's another 5 damage landing, and the Wolf Rider and the Glaivezuka, the top deck Wolf Rider, finishing it off for Neilyo. Soryu, a little unfortunate for him, but the top deck for Neilyo is real. Score now 2-0.
Malfurion versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine! I must protect the wild.
Welcome back, everyone, to Game 3 between Neilyo and Soryu. Soryu on the bottom, Neilyo at the top. Neilyo now on his last class, and it is going to be Warlock, so let's see how this is going to turn out for him. Soryu not with the best opening hand for the early game, but then again, neither does Neilyo. All he can really play is the Imp Gang boss at this point. So Neilyo has to win one game with Warlock to move to the finals. Soryu, in the meantime, has to win one game on Warlock, one game on Hunter, and one game on Druid to actually win. So Neilyo pretty happy with the Twilight Drake in his hand right now. Goes for the damage there. Is not really cracking a dent in Soryu's health right now, but is working on it ever so slightly.
I must safeguard.
Keeper of the Grove landing in. Unfortunately, we have a Keeper of the Grove bug here, so I'm gonna try and fix that as fast as possible. And looks like every card is just gonna be stacked up on top of each other. Quick shout out for Neilyo being really on the spot here with the invites here, so I've got to give him that, as it's probably pretty annoying to get all these invite spams when you're playing in a tournament like this, and especially in the semifinals, but he's been holding on. So Soryu coining, looks like he wants to coin for Ancient here to draw some extra cards for this one. And looking at like the cards in his hand, it's kind of like a mess of everything. It's like nothing really has good synergy with each other enough. Like, he has a lot of late game options, like with the Ragnaros, with Azure Drake, even with an extra card coming in. Has good board clear overall with the swipe, but nothing really that like stands out. Like, he has nothing really that's complete, so to say. So swipe looks like he wants to use that one to get rid of the Loatheb and the Imp Gang boss at the same time. Time is gonna run out pretty soon. The Imp is gained for his troubles though, and more than likely not to attack. Dread Infernal drawn by Neilyo, not that useful now, but might be later on. Actually, it's gonna play that one after attacking with the Imp for the 1 damage, dropping Soryu to 22, and that Dr. Boom is not 0 mana, sir. And I assume he did play that one, so now I have to restart again. I'm really sorry for that. Like, unfortunately, it's out of my control. I can't do too much about it. And apparently, I have been told by chat this is a global bug, but Dr. Boom is on the field, and it looks like Neilyo has set up a defensive field with the Sunfear Protector and the Void Caller in tandem. And now Soryu only has 13 health to play around with left. Boombot's looking to do their work, but not really.
Where shall I strike?
And looks like we have another Druid bug, yay. So, a lot of defensive options here being later, but unfortunately I can't hover over them so far. So random demon is going to be summoned. It is Lord Jaraxxus! And it looks like he did that on purpose because he has no other demons in his hand. 3 damage to all characters inflicted. 10 health remaining onto Soryu. Anti-heal bot being dropped as well. It looks like Soryu is going to respond with the Lopheb.
That was a mistake.
And Neilyo admitting, I did not mean to do that. As he's now merely sitting on a 312 Jaraxxus that it's not really doing anything. I mean, I guess it's a good wall being at 312, but Neilyo probably just flipping there and just not realizing that Jaraxxus was the only demon in his hand, or maybe he didn't even realize that Jaraxxus was a demon, like as his card class. So Lopheb coming out, locking Neilyo out of his Shadow Flame or Dark Bomb play, and Mal'Ganis now being pulled here, and Neilyo trying to do as much damage as possible. Only 3 health remaining for Soryu. Can Soryu do anything? Well, he pulls a big game hunter that is apparently now a Warlock card, but that's not going to help him too much. So, quick update for you guys. So, the cards on the field. Lord Jaraxxus on one end, Defender of Argus, Azure Drake, Lopheb, Anti-Q-Bot, and I think that is a Twilight Drake that is sitting there. I can't really check the history. Can I? Yes, I can. That's a Twilight Drake. So, Soryu digging for cards here with the Azure Drake. Is it going to be anything useful? Piloted Shredder.
I greet you.
Time is going to run out though, and it is not going to be enough. Soryu is going to be swept 3-0 and decides to suicide into Lord Jaraxxus, knowing he can't win this one anymore. Neilyo wins the game 3-0. So congratulations to Neilyo, moving on towards the